What's up guys, welcome to another video. I'm going to do a Q&A for this one. I am outside and it has suddenly just got a little bit windy, so I'm hoping the microphone does pick up my voice, otherwise this isn't going to be a video. But yeah, so I put up a thing on Instagram yesterday saying ask me powerlifting related questions, so things to do with just powerlifting as a whole or things to do with powerlifting meet prep. I didn't get a ridiculous amount of questions, so the questions that I did get, I will try and go into a little bit of detail about them. I have sort of seen the questions come up, but I haven't prepared any answers for them, so I'm just going to sort of go through them and yeah, just answer them honestly. So we might as well crack on. Let's have a look what the first one is. So the first one is by Luke Stone, and that just simply says, when are you coming to Super Training UK for a sesh? I am going to be coming down there hopefully after my competition, probably even the week after my competition, depending on sort of how I'm feeling. But yeah, I haven't actually been able to go there sort of during my meet prep, so yeah, it'd be amazing to go down there. I obviously follow them on Instagram, so I can see how good the gym is, and I see a lot of people that I follow on Instagram tagging it in Instagram, so yeah, it looks really good, and I definitely need to get down there soon, so it'll probably be a week or two after the competition. Right, next is by That Lifting Dooge. I think that's how you say your name, I'm not entirely sure. But what's your top 3 go-to hype songs? Keep up the good work, bro. Thank you very much, mate, I really appreciate that. What's your top 3 go-to hype songs? It changes from pretty much session to session, but at the moment I'm listening to some weird stuff at the moment. Sia Chandelier, for some reason that's like getting me pumped up, no idea why. Also a few Metallica songs, so there's a song called Human, which has a really good orchestral, is that how you say it, orchestral, yeah, a good orchestral bit in it, which has like a really good drop in it, so I've been listening to that. A little bit Disturbed, so Down With The Sickness, that's like obviously a standard lifting song, and a little bit of Lion King. So yeah, the guys I train with, they do give me a lot of stick because sometimes I will listen to Disney to get me hyped up. No idea why it gives me that sort of emotional response and it gets me that sort of pumped up, but it does. So whatever works for you, I suppose. I'm not embarrassed to say that that's what my hype up songs are. Another good one is Disturbed, Sound of Silence as well. That one's deep. Come to think of it, I've got loads actually. Let's have a quick look at some of my last songs that I played. Angel, Massive Attack, Westlife, obviously a big variety. Linkin Park's always a good shout as well. What I've Done, New Divide, songs of that nature, they're pretty good as well. I've got such a variety of songs, you know, anything from classical to heavy metal rock. So Marriott Performance, planned openers for the meet. I haven't actually had too much thought about this. I probably should, but I'm kind of leaving that to Ben, I think, to a degree. But I think 220 for squat would be a good opener. I think that would be easy, and then that would leave room to maybe go to then 230, then 240. But if I wanted to make it a little bit tighter, probably go sort of 225, 227, and then have smaller jumps to the 240. So that's squat. Bench, it all depends on the shoulder. If the shoulder's feeling pretty crap, I might lower my first attempt to something like 135, just so I can make sure I've got it, and then I will just have to judge it from there. So yeah, probably 135 to 140 hopefully, and then deadlift, probably 250, 255, and then that will take me to sort of 260, 265, and then some sort of big number for the third, if I've obviously got that far. Hero Mariani PT, we should train together one day. I'll be down in Bristol in a couple of weeks. Are you down for it? Yes, 100% mate. Once I've competed, I will be free as a bird, and I'm looking to sort of train with quite a few people, so yeah, 100%, let me know when you're free and we'll sort something out. Josh Dean Fitness, why didn't you do British bench comp? First of all, because my bench just isn't that good. It's probably my worst lift out of the 3, and I like powerlifting for the full competition, so the squat, bench and deadlift. I would just get bored just going in and just benching. I like the sort of the atmosphere and the build up to all 3 lifts, and I just, for some reason, I think it's more of an achievement, just for me, this is just my personal opinion, on getting a full total rather than just getting bench. But yeah, that's not to say that people that go to the bench competitions aren't ridiculously strong and don't deserve medals and stuff like that, because they're obviously very good at bench. Yeah, I just prefer the full power meets. Elliot J. Smith, 16. How can you mentally prepare yourself before hitting a PR and PB? I mean, I could talk for ages about this one. I did sort of make a video about sort of physically preparing for a PR, but obviously from a mental point of view, I think visualizing is a massive one. So thinking about the lift, thinking about the cues that you're going to be doing, and I'm not just talking about before you go and do it, I'm talking like the day before, and it's sort of borderline becoming a little bit obsessed with it. That's where you've got to be a little bit careful, because you don't want to sort of get distractions from your everyday life, and you don't want it to be like your only thing that you're thinking about. But to a degree, when you're coming up to a big lift like that, you have to mentally prepare yourself to what it's going to be feeling like. So give the squat, for example, you have to sort of visualize what you're going to do when you're under the bar, how you're going to get tight, when you're unracking it, how it's going to feel, because you know it's going to feel heavy, but you have to sort of get that in your head and sort of accept it's going to feel heavy. And yeah, just visualize the whole sort of movement and visualize yourself completing it, and knowing that you can do it because you've lifted weights that are only a little bit lighter than that before with ease. So yeah, I think confidence, just make sure you're confident going into the lift, and just don't get distracted. So when you're actually in the gym, it's good to have a laugh and things like that, but actually when it comes to going for the lift, you've got to like sort of tell your gym mates, right, I'm going for it now, my headphones are in, they're aware of it, so they're not going to be sort of distracted, joking around with you. They know that it's sort of go time, so just being so focused on it. And then for me personally, I then go to quite a dark place. I get quite emotional because I need that sort of fight or flight response, so I will bring up things from my past, you know, just sort of dark episodes in my life, things like that, and that I use as fuel, and that with a combination of music is a very, very powerful tool. I think Eddie Hall has talked about the sort of how it's mind over matter with a lot of things. He said that before he pulled his 500 kilos, he was thinking about pulling a car off of his kids on a motorway, and he said a few weeks before that his best ever deadlift was 457 kilos, but yet he managed to pull 500 kilos. So it just goes to show with the right mentality you can literally do anything. Right, next one is Jacob Hughes Fitness. What ways do you manage fatigue and stress levels while peaking? That is a great question. I think try and not do too much outside of the gym, so be honest with your friends and your social circle. Luckily a lot of the guys that I'm good friends with do go to the gym, and they sort of understand powerlifting, so they know that I'm going to be slightly more stressed, I'm going to be more fatigued, so I'm not going to be wanting to sort of go on nights out, and I'm not going to want to be socialising as much because that is just going to knacker me out. But at the same token, you do also want to be doing things which relax you, so going for walks, things like that, really sort of calm your mind. So from a sort of stress point of view, that's a good thing to do, sort of just get out away from the gym as well and not really think about it too much. From a fatigue point of view, I think it's just the general rehab stuff. You've got to be making sure that you are doing almost daily rehab, so stretching and mobilizing. So I am actually going to go to the gym in a minute, even though I'm not training, and just sort of work on my shoulder mobility, my legs, my hips, and just leave no stone unturned really. You just got to be really making sure that you're fit and healthy. Fatigue is naturally going to be high, so you're going to be feeling a little bit more aggy. So yeah, I think just being honest with people and saying, look, I'm not going to be like that pleasant to be around, just because I am going to be feeling a bit sort of tense, just with how training's going. Make sure you sleep a lot. That's a big one as well. Like, you can recover so much from eating and stretching, but sleep is a huge one. If you can get sort of 8 to 9 hours sleep a night, that's going to leave you feeling so refreshed. So yeah, I suppose just sleep, recover, and just being honest with your friends when it comes to social events. And I think the other thing is just don't stress too much about it. It's a powerlifting competition at the end of the day. It's not do or die. If you don't get the total that you want, life's going to go on. Do you know what I mean? In a few days time or a week's time, whatever, you're going to forget about it and you're going to be moving on with your life. So it's really not that big of a deal, so don't put too much pressure on yourself. Hurst Oliver, does being a fluffy dough ball help? Steve made me do this. Okay, thanks Ollie. Does being a fluffy dough ball help? Yeah, 100%. If you're a long boy like I used to be, it makes lifting weights a lot harder, so having a little bit more padding definitely helps, especially on the bench press. When you're a bit more fluffy and a bit bigger, definitely helps with your bench, I've noticed that. And just generally, when you're fluffy, it means you're having a calorie surplus, which means you're going to be putting on more muscle, you're going to be putting on more size. At the end of the day, mass moves mass, so the bigger you are, the stronger you're going to be. Joel Clark 0107, compete with me in July at the Phoenix Fitness gym competition for fun. So this is a different Phoenix Fitness. I have no idea who these guys are, but I think they're somewhere in Devon and they're running a powerlifting competition. So yeah, I might go down there and show face. It might be a little bit awkward if I turn up with my Phoenix Fitness stuff as well, but I think that could be quite funny. So yeah, I probably will compete, but the only thing is, if I do qualify next week for the British is in August, I believe, so that'll only be a month apart. So I could go down and sort of treat it as a I don't know, another training day, and just do a squat, bench and deadlift, but keep it conservative. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting if I do go. Barney St. Anton, bro, I've got a week off, 15th to the 20th of April, and I'm touring the country. Let's link up for a sesh and food. Not a question, but yeah, 100%. I have already messaged you back, so yeah, we need to sort something out soon. Entering berserker mode, what a name. Tightness versus leg drive on the bench. Which one is superior in your opinion? Leg drive lets me lift more. Okay, that is a tough question. I think tightness rules all in all of the movements. So I think if you're not tight but you've got leg drive, you're not gonna lift the weight as much. I mean, leg drive definitely has its place in bench for sure, but I think keeping yourself tight will just overall have better results in terms of strength. If you think about your body as a chain, if you've got a weak link, so say you're tight, but your torso isn't tight, that's your weak link. So obviously if you've got one link in the chain which is broken, it's going to affect the whole of your body. So I think overall body tightness outweighs things like leg drive. Leg drive is almost part of tightness as well, I suppose, because if you are tight and then you sort of get the bar down when you press, naturally I think you get a bit of leg drive when you're tight anyway. But if I had to say one or the other, definitely tightness over leg drive. And the last question is by Darren Lloyd 13. Where's the question? Okay, so weight cuts, RE feeding, what to eat in the meet, etc. So yeah, so weight cuts. So this is something obviously I'm going to have to do. So I think this basically means what's the best way to weight cut. So there's probably two main ways of doing this, and I talked about this in a video fairly recently actually, and that is to water cut, so water manipulation, to basically get fluid out of your body before you weigh in, obviously meaning that you weigh less and then you refeed after, or there is just the standard way of just dieting down before a competition, so you're in a calorie deficit and you just lose weight naturally that way. Even when you're in a calorie deficit, especially if you lower your carbs, a lot of that weight is going to be water as well, because when you have carbs, that helps you retain water. I think it's something like, I can't remember what the ratio is, it's something like 1 gram of carbs equals 4 grams of water. I don't know, something like that. I'll have to have a look at it, but basically you can diet down and lose some water weight through dieting, or you can do the more drastic approach of the water cut. I think I'm going to do a sort of mini water cut where I'm basically going to be drinking sort of 4 to 6 litres at the beginning of next week, and I will build that up towards the end of the week. So I'm going to eventually be having sort of 10, 11, 12 sort of litres of water, and then the idea is your body releases a chemical called, I'm not going to remember what it's called, ghrelin.
Drinking lots of water upregulates a hormone called renin.
Basically, once that's excreted, it makes you think that you're still needing to urinate, so you'll flush out all of this water, basically dehydrate yourself, and then once you've weighed in, you then rehydrate, and you should be back to your sort of fighting weight, which would be over your weight category. So I'm going to have to do that to a degree, because I weighed myself this morning and I was 107 kilos, and that was like naked. So yeah, 107 kilos, that's 2 kilos over my weight category. So I'm going to have to do something fairly drastic, even if it is just dieting quite hard this week. But it'll be fine. I mean, I've been training at pretty much 104 to 105 kilo body weight anyway, so that's not going to affect my performance. And the second part to that question was what to eat in the meet. Just quick releasing carbohydrates is obviously a go-to, so things like Haribo, just sweets in general. At the beginning of a competition, I will have a more slow release carbohydrate, something like porridge. Excuse me. Something like porridge, which will sort of give me a steady energy release throughout the whole competition. So I'll have a big bowl of that, as long as I don't fill up too much. I'll have Lucozades with electrolytes to help prevent me from cramping as well. Just lots of sort of simple sugars. You want to try and avoid fat, just because that takes a long time to sort of digest in your body, and you don't want to sort of fill up on that. So you want things that are sort of going to be easily accessible for your body to use, but at the same time you don't want to be having things which are too far away from your normal diet, because you don't want to sort of upset your tummy as well, and you don't want to be like feeling really sick or needing to go to the loo before you're out to squat, because that would be embarrassing for everybody. Things like salt though as well, because salt can sort of help retain water as well, so that can sort of make you feel a bit fuller and a bit bigger, which obviously helps when you're lifting as well. But yeah, I think just simple sugars, a little bit of salt, make sure you stay hydrated, and you'll be good to go. So I think that was all of the questions that I got yesterday on Instagram. So yeah, 1 week out today, but this video is probably going to go out on Tuesday, so which means I'll be 5 days away from the competition. I'm feeling pretty good, pretty confident about it, as long as my fucking shoulder doesn't decide to jeopardize everything. But yeah, like I say, I'm gonna go to the gym now, just do a little bit of mobility work, so hopefully that sorts that out. But yeah, thanks for everyone for your support, I suppose, on various social medias. Some of you I've met, some of you I've not. So it's pretty cool, this social media world, because you get people sort of cheering you on. Sorry, camera just died. But yeah, what I was basically saying is thank you for everyone that sort of supports the channel, sort of supports me, I suppose, to a degree. The small amount of you that do, thanks. Right, anyway, I'm going to shoot off. Thanks a lot. See you in the next video. Oh, I'm so stiff.